Hello, people. Hello to all my subscribers. I'm just trying to sort out these settings a minute because I'm on a new system with YouTube, which I've never used before. So I'm just trying to set it all up. Give me a second to settle out all these settings because I'm not sure how we set it up. Yes, I know many of you are probably thinking, gone live quite late, but that's because I wanted to mostly be able to be live for my US audience around the world because obviously I go live too early and none of you are active at that time because it's not your evening time. So I thought it was best to go live at a time when everyone is able to make it into the live stream instead of you guys missing it all the time. So I thought we'll come live for about an hour or so and see what everyone's doing and how they feel about it. And obviously, I've got to explain a few things as well. It's one of the reasons why I've gone live. I thought it was easier to do it on a live stream than let's do it on a video, so it makes more sense. But I just want to let it build up because obviously I didn't give a notification to anybody that I was going live. Everyone would have just got the notification that I've gone live. I didn't give anyone any warning or anything, so I just want to let many of you. I'll let it build up. Let's get enough people in here, and I'll be able to talk more about why I've gone live. Silver Sun, hello. How are you? CT, hello from New York. And you got a quick question. I'll read it in a second because I've seen you've already sent it. Do I still use Instagram? No, I don't use Instagram anymore. I use Telegram, which if you want to become a Telegram member, which group's really big on there, very helpful community that I've built up on there. You become a member on the channel. You guys probably know how to join to become a member, and you'll get access to the Telegram group. And like I say, we've got about 75 members in there. 4 of them are tech still working at BMW. So if you ever need anything, they are able to help you along with me. They're really good. I use TikTok a lot now to promote. It works really well. I know some people ain't interested in that, but TikTok's been working really, really well for me. I'm quite surprised actually. So I've been steady on that and staying focused on that a lot. And obviously, I'm trying to get back into the swing of YouTube because YouTube, I've been down and out, but I'm coming back with a pumping. I can say that I'm coming back strong on YouTube now. I want to be pushing on YouTube, but yes, if you do want to be able to contact me, Telegram's probably the best way. I help people be able to diagnose their problems via video call on that sense, and if they need any kind of remote assistance on the software or anything like that, then I can also do that as well. Very easily through Telegram. So if you pay for the membership, then obviously you get 24/7 assistance on there. And there's always someone awake because we've got techs in the US, we've got techs in the UK, I've got techs in France. We've got a lot of people on there willing to help. A lot of good friends of mine, very knowledgeable, just like me, and will help you with any of your questions or problems you have on your BMWs. And that relates to all the BMWs because the techs that I've got that are friends, they're working on the newer BMWs, all the electric, the hybrids, 530Es, and all the newer BMWs as well, where the G series. So they're very clued up as well on them. So are you asked if I book people in for jobs? I never have took jobs on. I've never booked people in, and I don't intend to. I don't have time for it, if I'm honest with you. Don't have the time to be doing that. Dave Hallcott, watched a lot of your clips. Keep up the good footage and help you give. Thank you very much. I appreciate, like I say, I appreciate everyone that watches. Look, I don't care if you hate me or love me. The fact is, you will support me somehow, some way, and that's what matters. So to me, I don't care. It don't bother me whatsoever. I've got to be honest. I'm very thick-skinned, so nothing nobody says, nothing nobody does bothers me at all in the slightest. I'm very tough like that. Hello from Trinidad and Tobago. West Indies, very good. Anson, Frank, Tom. CT, I just took my BMW for service and a check engine light come on. Should I be concerned? Well, it depends on if the car's running basically like crap or if it's still running fine, because some of the times it can be an O2 sensor, which the car will just carry on running fine. Sometimes the check engine light comes on for stupidness, where it doesn't even affect the engine, and your car will still be running fine. It depends on what it is, but realistically, I always tell everyone, just buy yourself a cheap scan tool, scan it yourself and sort the issue out. Doesn't make sense to even take it into BMW, to be honest. They're going to charge you a fortune just to be able to diagnose it, and a fortune for the part, make you fork out, to pay for that part there and then. And if you don't pay for the part, they'll charge a diagnostic fee. And then they say if you do pay for the part and get it fixed for them, they'll waiver the diagnostics fee. So it doesn't make sense anyway. So you're still going to pay in the long run, and the cost you're going to pay them to diagnose your car to find the issue. You can buy a diagnostics tool yourself. Hello from Quebec City. Hello from Nambia. Hi from Ireland. Marius. I'm from New York as well. Does anyone know where to download Freestar? I'll wait until more people get in here and I'll talk about it in a second, because as for software and a lot of other things, the membership is the key for this. Reputable downloads of that is going to be on the membership. I've just managed to put a file together along with other stuff that I'm going to be doing, but I'll let you guys know in a second. I just want to wait until other people get in here regarding that. So David G, I'll get back to you on that in a second. I love watching your station. I've got an older project, 2007 335. Front left tire bent. I've replaced it and I've watched countless videos on DIY alignment. WDYT. What do you think? If it's bent, it's probably the steering rack. Steering rack's completely gone. If you can't get it aligned properly, it's either going to be a steering rack or it's going to be probably the front control arms that are probably gone as well that you need to change. They usually bend as well. If it took a whack at the front left, then it's going to be your control arms as well that you probably overlooked that are probably bent. Good day from Canada. Learn a bunch from your videos. Hi from the US. Is E46 BMW compact good cars? Yes, they are good cars and becoming very, very rare now. Extremely rare. You don't even see them here in the UK, and when you do, they're very expensive. If I could get one, I would definitely bag one of them, because they are super rare cars now. I mean, people say the 130i is rare in the UK, but the compacts are even rarer, and especially if you get the TI, the M Sport one, I would have one of them in a heartbeat, purely because they're going to go skyrocket like hell. The E36 compact, however, wasn't so great, but the E46 was really good, especially with the M54 engine and being a manual transmission. It's the only ones I would touch. I wouldn't touch one with a automatic. That's the only car I would get in a manual, is a E46 compact. What is your Telegram channel? That's the Telegram channel is on the membership. On the expert pack, I don't just give it out. So you'd have to go to the membership, and if you become a member, you will have it right there. So on the membership community post, you add it, and then it accepts you automatically. There's loads of guys that are moderators on there. They accept you. I'm in there. Everybody's in there. Like I said, there's like over 70 of us in there already. We've got a lot of members actually on the Telegram group, more than I ever thought I would ever get. But it just goes to show you how many people have problems with the BMWs. They stay loyal. Every month, they're constantly renewing because they want to stay, because they see how dedicated I am. We've got a lot of Spanish guys in there as well, part of the membership. So yeah, we've got a mixture of all different people in there, but they're all clued up, and everyone has been through a problem that you guys are probably facing that they know how to solve. And if they don't, then I'm there, and then other people are there which know how to solve it. But yeah, the Telegram group is worth it all day long, with the amount of people we've got in there. And some of them have been enthusiasts for a long time. Some of them have the older BMW, some of them have the newer ones. Just a mixture of all. Good evening. There's no way to drop the hard top. My window regulator is broken. What car is it that you're needing to drop the hard top on? Have you ever heard about LPG conversion in M52? Yeah, people do them here all the time, but why would you want to do that? They're not bad on fuel consumption as it is, and I don't understand why people do that. If you want to do an LPG conversion on an M52, then you're probably better off with like a 1 litre engine. I don't understand why anyone would run an LPG conversion on an M52 engine, if I'm honest. Doesn't make sense. But to run an LPG to save on fueling costs, it's what most people do it for here. It's not really much cheaper than fuel anyway. I think LPG used to be cheap. It used to be like 40p a litre and 50p a litre when fuel was like 110. But now I think LPG is even like 80, 90p a litre. So it doesn't make a significant difference and it doesn't last as long anyway. And all you're going to end up doing is causing more issues with the engine, because if that ever runs low, you can end up actually destroying the engine from the no gas being injected. Because you've got to remember, it terminates the fuel and starts running on gas. And you don't want that. That can really damage the engine significantly. I've had many LPG cars and they're not fun at all when they go wrong and very costly. Lynn, what's going on? Long time no see, my friend. Long time no see. And how's it been going with you anyway? It's running fine. They charged me $300 just to look at it. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. The price you spent there, you could have bought the scan tool for around $160 and been able to solve it yourself. And you could just look at it yourself and have the scan tool forever. It's not worth going to the dealers. It really isn't. Hello from Greece. Grateful for the content, help, respect. Thank you. You're welcome. Very welcome. Can you send me the scanner name? Thank you. It's actually in my links in my description box on this live stream and all of my videos. It's actually the Launch Creator Elite for BMW. Everyone probably knows it. Some people in it already have it. They already know about it. I've done enough videos on it. It's probably one of the cheapest, most effective, best BMW tools you can buy. If you own a BMW and just BMWs, that's all you need. You don't need anything better than that. Have you ever driven an E38? How did you like it? Never driven one. It's never been a car realistically I've ever been interested in, if I'm honest. But given a chance, I would, because I have got a thing for the old 7 Series. So yeah, I've always liked them. The E39 I was always a fan of, and the E38 I've always wanted one of them. But finding a good example is far and few between, if I'm honest. What do you think? Oh, Ben, I have to go back up to your message. I don't know where you sent it. Message. What do you think? Just popped in to say thank you for all the headaches you have solved me. I owe you a beer if you're ever in Australia. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Mine is E46 compact. Auto runs amazing. Bulletproof. Why auto is no good? Um, I just feel like the automatics, they don't tend to hold much value on their compacts compared to the manual ones. The manuals were a rarity on them. And I've driven a compact, a manual one. And I really, really liked it. Actually, my friend had two of them back in the day when they were popular. But now finding them, I don't understand. BMW didn't sell them by the bunch, but they're a really nice car, a really good car to drive. And like I said, if one popped up cheap enough, I would grab it in a heartbeat, because it's one car I've always adored, and I think they're more rare than any car actually on the road today, because not many people know about them, and not many countries got them. A lot of people got the E36 compact, but the E46 compact wasn't really distributed worldwide. So yeah, that would be a car I would target in a heartbeat if it come up cheap enough. 4 Series, Andy McKay. I'm confused. Oh, 4 Series. Okay. You're going to have to manually drop the roof on that. There is a manual override on them. Same as like on my 6 Series, you can manually override it to be able to drop the drop top if anything was to go wrong and the motor was to give up for you, so you'll be able to put it back, of course. I'll just look it up how to manually override it on the 4 Series, to get the drop top to drop down, or at least to get it up in half position, so you're able to change the window regulator. Because as you know, when the windows drop when you open the door, and then they rise back up and lock themselves um, into the roof to close the window, to seal the window in the seal. So yeah, I would look that up. Opinion about Autel Maxis diagnostics tool, and for what car brands are more capable? The Autel Maxis, I've got that one, but I tend to not use it so much, purely because I've got so many different scan tools. It's unreal. And the problem with Autel as well, they charge so much for their yearly subscription. It's ridiculous. But I do have the Maxis, as you probably know, but I don't use it. The only reason I actually bought that was for the J2534. But realistically, it's not something I use a lot. If I'm honest with you, I prefer the TOPDON Phoenix Pro, because the programming in that is wicked. And like I say, it's so fast. I've used it quite a few times, and it's the one scan tool I go to if I need programming or coding. That is phenomenal at what it does, and I've not had an issue with it at all doing anything with that scan tool. E46 comp with front swap are really cool. That €200 tune is crazy good. Yeah, I know that. I know, but I know all about that. And the front, when where people change the bumper all the time on it, and I do like them a lot. Like I said, the E46 compact is, like I say, one car I look at them all the time, but very few come up. When they come up, they are ridiculously priced because people know how rare they are. They're like, some of them go for 5, 6 grand here, and you got to consider 6 grand. Okay, it's not a lot of money for the car, but you also got to factor in it's an old car, so it's going to need a lot of money spent on it. A lot of them are on low mileage, but they're going to creep up to high mileage where they're going to need work done, and people ain't factoring that in. Um, but like I say, the majority of them that come up here are auto, and I know you can get them in manual, so I wouldn't touch one in automatic purely for that reason, because I know that manual is going to hold more value than the automatic going forward. So there's no point. The automatics on them were very problematic, and would always go wrong. And it's just more maintenance that you don't need when you can just buy the manual version. LPG is 69. Yeah, that's what I mean. In Italy, that's why you're asking about LPG. It's roughly around the same here, and that's what I mean. It doesn't make it efficient. If I'm honest with you, like I said, if the M52 is costing you too much money, I would probably say to sell it and get something a lot smaller. In Italy, you get the 120i's, you get the 116i. I know you probably don't want to do that after watching videos of what I've said about them engines, but in the same sense, if you're trying to cut the costs, that would probably be your better way, because LPG will just end up destroying the engine long term, especially, pumping gas into the engine. I'm telling you that right now. They're not efficient as what people make you believe. Yes, they're good when they run, but when they go wrong, they're a nightmare. And it's going to take, if you never need to diagnose the car, it'll be a nightmare to diagnose because of all that LPG system in place and all the sensors, and the diagnostics will not pick it up. It'll make you think it's something else when it's not. You need to have a good LPG specialist who knows them as well, which again, even here, there's very few now. There used to be loads, but now nobody really gets involved because nobody does LPG because everyone goes to diesel. So diesel just as economical, and because electric now coming around, is phasing out realistically. LPG by a long shot. Electric's taking over now. So, LPG is not really needed. Do you still like the Think Car scan tool? I have the 7. I believe the new one seems more capable. Yeah, don't get me wrong, the Think Car scan tools are really good, but the new one that they bring out, the one that I did the video on, I really, really do like. That one I've been using a lot. I really like I don't know, I like the style of it. I like the UI of it. I just like everything about it, if I'm honest with you. I like just the way it feels in your hand as well. It feels like a premium device for not a lot of money. So yeah, the Think Car scan tool, the new one I've done, is really good, really, really good, and I enjoy that one. Like I say, it's so easy to grab and use. Like the others come in these big boxes, big cases, but I prefer that Think Car one all day long. It's just easy to grab, easy to take around with you, and it looks professional as well. And I love that it's magnetic with the device, OBD, VCI. I like all that. Everything about it's good. And they did correct a lot of the things when I put it on the video that they didn't put it correctly. I think they've done an update now to correct all that. Obviously, the ABS bleeding where they had it wrong and things like that. They've done a lot of corrections on that based on my video, which is good. First time BMW 82128 I own now. An absolute joy to drive. Cheers. Yeah, you guys with the M52 are going to love what's coming up on the membership. If you ain't part of the membership, I'm telling you, you're going to want to be part of the membership, because if you do own an M52 and auto, trust me, I've got a lot coming for the M52 engine. It's not a joke. Like I said, I've been busy for the last 6 months, but don't think I haven't been focusing on everything that for YouTube and the M52. Going forward, in the time I've had the 6 series, I've been working on a lot of things, me and another guy, and we've managed to finally make it work. And you guys, if you're not a member, you're going to want to become a member purely because of what I'm going to be putting out. I'm not going to really say much because the video is going to drop some point this week. But yeah, if you're not a member, you're going to want to become a member, because there's a lot of you M52 guys, they're going to thank me after. Good day, Dean, across the pond as well. Picked up my 130i E87 pre-LCI a few months back. About 7,002, right? People don't know how to run these cars, given a bad rep. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. But I think that's the truth of every BMW, if I'm honest. It ain't just the M52. That's every BMW in general. Everything. You can't, yeah, literally, they've all got a bad reputation because of the way they're just hammered around and neglected. And then people seem to think they're going to run forever, as I say, and it's simply not the case. When is a good time to change the chain of BMW 46 and other timings, all that? To be honest, if the car has got a good service history and had a good life, then realistically, the timing chains don't ever need to be changed, ever. It just goes by how well looked after the car was. If it's been badly neglected and it's always never had oil changes, people have neglected it, then, you know, I would say, you might be better off to strip the engine down and change the timing chain. But realistically, if the car's been looked after, timing chain should be perfect. There should be no issues with the timing chain at all. No, like realistically, like I said, even when I rebuilt my Porsche engine, this had been neglected, but the timing chains were perfect. Did I have to change them? No. I chose to change all three of them. I didn't need to, and it was over nearly 100K now, but I changed them anyway. But you don't need to change if it's a chain. The same was on motorbikes, they use a chain. The chains don't go bad, providing they're looked after. And the only reason motorbike chains go bad is because they're exposed to the environment. And if you lube them correctly and oil them correctly and look after them, then they last a long time. But if you neglect them, then of course they're going to go bad. But with a car chain, it's inside the engine, which is always getting lubricated. It's very rare it's going to have any issues unless obviously a timing chain guide rail was snapped and broken or something got into the engine, and of course change the timing chain. But you don't need to go and change the timing chain just for the sake of it. It doesn't make sense. Which car would you prefer, the E60 M5 or 535i? Oh, to be honest, this is hard for me, Alonso. Um, God, to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't miss my M5 because I do. Um, God, there's some days I sit here thinking I wish I kept it, but and then I come to the real side of it and think, no, I don't, and that's purely because both of them, the 535i is just troublesome anyway with these two turbos, and people tune them. They're another car, as I've spoke about in videos like the M135 and 140i's here. They get into all the wrong hands. People mess about them. You don't know whether you're buying a good one or a bad one because people remap them, hammer them into the ground, run them into the ground, and then try and flog them onto somebody else to deal with all the issues. And that was the same with the E60 M5 when it first came out. And finding a good one and bad one is very hard because finding a good one, they're just not out there. Majority of them are coming to the age now, and a lot of them people are hammering them to the ground, then wanting to get rid of them for the maintenance is due. And secondly, obviously with the E60 M5, you've also got that, even with me, the power was unusable. For daily driving, you just couldn't use the car. And when you wanted to, you'd get some idiot that would pull out in front of you, or you know, you end up with getting flashed by a camera, or the sound of that car coming down. You end up with police that will hear it coming down from the other side of the road. It was just one of them cars that, as much as you wanted to use it, you just couldn't. There was no road, no space to be able to use that car. And in my country, in the UK, to use the E60 M5 on the roads here, you're asking for it. You get caught using the speed of that car, you're going to be banned for life and probably never allowed near another motor vehicle in your life. So it didn't make sense for me to keep it because it was just an unusable car here, very unusable, and it didn't make sense. And this is why I'm not saying that E60 M5 is a bad car, because I made it very reliable, one of my strongest cars I ever owned, because I did everything to that. But realistically, this is why I say to you guys, I wouldn't go back to another one. It's not because I don't like, it's purely because it's just an unusable car. Same with the F10 M5. As much as I love that car, and obviously I could go and buy one, it just doesn't make sense to me because you can't use the power anywhere you want to, anywhere you want to use it. And that's why, like I say, with the Porsches, with them, they're usable day to day. Whether you're going around a bend, whether you're going on a track, whether you're going on the road. It's a calm car, yeah, it's a quick car, but it's just got the right amount of BHP that you need for the roads today. But the M5 was a ridiculous amount of power, and it wanted you to push it constantly. And if you don't, it doesn't enjoy that kind of lifestyle, just balancing, cruising around. It wants you to push it, and it wants you to open it up. And unfortunately, you can't do that. You just realistically cannot do that. As much as I wanted to all the time, but it's like the moment you do, it's just other people on the road, and the speed you're coming down. Jesus, you're not even seeing everything. At that speed that you're traveling at, you're not seeing everything clearly, and you end up either hitting something or doing big damage to yourself or others on the road. So it just doesn't make sense. Since changing all 6 spark plugs, injector coils, charger canister, water pump, phone, now she's running beautifully. Many thanks, mate. No problem. Just get BMW F20 M13 if you want petrol car, but want to run it cheap, or F20 M47. Really good cars with ECUs tuned stage 1. That's it. Do that and just get it remapped for economy, and that's it. Instead of an LPG, I would not recommend an LPG conversion. Completely right. I would get that as well. Or, there's other engines out there as well. You can buy other cars. It just depends on what you want. If you want to stick to BMW, the guy's giving you a good load of cars that you could actually just go and put yourself into and save on the fuel cost if it's costing you too much to run. Cool, thank you. I think I'll upgrade. No problem. First time I've caught you live, just want to say I was enjoying your content. Used to do a bit of YouTube, but I've drifted off it and lost subscribers. Family and life issues, I miss it. Yeah, we'll talk. I know you are, mate. That's what happens with a lot of people. I think a lot of people at the moment with YouTube have been drifting away. They want to do it, but then they start doing it and then they come away. But like I said, I was the same, but I only started drifting away purely because I was focusing somewhere else. And like I said, it's not the same for everyone else. So look, hand on my heart, TikTok's been good to me. That's not to say it's good to everybody, because it ain't. There's many, as I said on the video, there's many YouTubers bigger than me that are trying TikTok and failing. And I'm watching them. There's many. I'm not going to sit and mention all the channels, but there is channels and they are failing dramatically. And it's not that their content will not relate on TikTok, purely because TikTok, they've got the brain cells of like a fish who watch TikTok. They cannot keep glued for more than 5 minutes to each video on there. They start moaning that they're at work, or they ain't got all day to sit here watching a video. So most people who do 15-minute, 2-hour videos, hour videos, are not going to be successful on YouTube. I mean TikTok, because the people on TikTok are young and their brain cannot stay focused on it. They want to get off it. They just want to keep scrolling through. So you have to try and keep their brain span and their attention locked to you at all times. And I've managed to do that, thankfully, but others, it ain't so simple, and their videos would not appeal to the audience that are on TikTok, purely because it takes a lot. It took me a long time to work out how to attract the viewers, how to get them in, and I worked it out. And obviously I have had a manager from TikTok who helped me set everything up. At 100k, you probably know every TikTok person ends up going to the TikTok studios in London and this and that, and you get welcome there, meet other TikTok creators, and that, which I'm nearly at now. I'm not far off 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I've really blown up on it. And like I said, it's just how you come across, and obviously I've come across very well. I didn't think I will. A lot of people were shocked. People that see me from YouTube on there are now seeing me blow up on there. Obviously, a lot of people didn't want that, but it is what it is. It's happened, and I've done very well. But like I said, that's not to say everyone will. You've really got to have the mindset of the younger generation. Luckily, I've got kids who are 16. My son's very big on TikTok as well. He's 16 years old and he's massive on there, and does very well with his videos. And my daughter, who's 15. So they've educated me on what the younger generation will watch. I've already got kids that in that age bracket that I know how to manipulate the younger generation's brain to keep them watching, and how to keep them intrigued, and how to get the videos out to them. So I've worked it out very, very well. I mean, if you ain't got a young audience, for instance, and you don't have any young kids, then you are doing it, then you won't know. So it's very hard for most people to get out there and be able to do it. But I've learned the system. I've learned the system very well. And like I say, it doesn't work for everyone, and that's fair enough. Like I say, I'm fortunate enough that it worked there. It worked on YouTube, and I just keep pushing the way it is. And that's why I said I'm just staying focused now on YouTube and TikTok, because I want to keep engaging with you guys on here. But I also have to keep engaging with my followers on there as well. And it's not easy. It's become like a full-time job, where to the point I'm only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a day, having to do TikTok, having to do YouTube. And I haven't stopped with YouTube right now. I've got so many videos to go out over this next month. It's unreal. And literally, you guys will think, oh, I'm only back to posting now. I have got a lot of videos, and that's for the membership and for the normal channel. And I literally haven't stopped. Like I said, I've been sleeping 4 hours a day, just banging it out, solid, focusing on pushing to give you guys what you guys have been asking me for. I will go through all the comments, studying what you guys were asking me for, and I've acknowledged it and focused on doing them videos purely for you guys that have been asking me, can you do a video on this? Can you do a video on that? And that's now what I've done. But yeah, all talk, don't get down about it, man. Just come back when you can. I wouldn't worry about it now. I really wouldn't. Like, at the end of the day, that's what happens. Family life takes over. And even I know that. And you just have to focus on the family first. They come first before YouTube. And you know, if they're loyal scrubbers, they'll wait. They'll wait until you come back. I'm about to buy an X5 3 litre petrol. Does it sound good? 220,000 kilometers and 160,000 miles. I'd be very careful with that, Rodrigo, especially because of the gearbox on them and the handles and the heater resistor and the ignition switch. And there's so many issues on them cars that can go wrong. I'd be very, very careful when buying it. I really would. I'm going to join as a member once I get back to work in spring. I have a few BMWs still have. No problem, Blaineswell, that's fine, not an issue. I look forward to your to content question. I'll be doing all servicing. What would you recommend for my cold Canadian winters? For the cold Canadian winters, look, I would just stick to 5W40. I've never had an issue. We're cold here at the moment. We're going into -2. And I know in Canada you go a lot colder than that. But 5W40, providing you let the engine come to temperature and don't thrash it, 5W40 will be fine. If you've got a garage, of course, then 5W40 is going to be perfectly fine. I know you have a ton of great content and software. Yeah, I do. And like I said, the membership is going to be ramsacked. I've been focusing a lot of my attention on that. I've also got a membership on TikTok as well, which is doing really well for members only as well. Content which I really like on TikTok. Again, don't want to keep bringing it up, but TikTok have a system when they go on your page, they can see where it says subscription content only amongst all your other videos. So it gets a lot of people attracted to joining there as well. But like I say, what I'm offering on YouTube, I'm not offering on TikTok because I don't want to have it in two places. There's different content on TikTok to what there is on YouTube, and that's why I want to try and keep it. Bummer, it's too late to see this. Thanks for your awesome intel. Like no other. No problem, Trinity. What's the best mod you can do on your BIM to increase better function and longevity? Got inspired with this question. Mod you can do on your BIM to increase function and longevity. Longevity is servicing it correctly. Maintenance. Maintenance is key. That is the key to be um, having the best BMW and making it last long. Sorry, that's the best way to do it is maintenance. I just purchased an F10 with the M55 motor. I've only M54 before the 92. My mechanic said it looks good. He checked it out. What else should I look out for? If you've now got the M55 motor, there's a lot to look out for on them. And I do have actually a video up regarding the M55 from when I had my M55 engine. There's a lot of problems on them that can go wrong, like the oil filter housing, the valve cover, charge pipe, for instance. They're notorious for blowing out. Done it on mine, and I replaced it to a aluminum one. They're just notorious for blowing. I also did an oil catch cam, but realistically, it wasn't really needed. I didn't really even capture any oil, if I'm honest with you, on my M55 after putting that. I did a lot of different things on my M55. You're probably best to look at my video on that engine because the M55 don't really suffer much issues. They don't suffer injector issues, high pressure fuel pump issues like the N54 does. So you get away from that. And especially on the F10, you'll have the same engine that I had in my M135i. I appreciate this ones I'm thinking of which one to sell. It depends on what country you live in and how you feel. I can't tell you which one to sell. That's all personal opinion. That's completely up to you. Because I'm not, listen, everyone is different. For me, I sold the M5 purely because where I live, it's just not usable. Otherwise, I'm telling you right now, hand on heart, I would never have sold that car, not with everything I've done to it, because I actually adored that car. The only reason I sold it was purely because I couldn't use it and I wasn't using it. And that's the God's honest truth. There was no other reason I sold that car. Not because I didn't like it, not because of I didn't like anything about it. It was purely because I just didn't use it. I really didn't. And realistically, it was my fault. I shouldn't have bought the M135i because I started driving that a lot more than the M5. But yeah, the M5 was never a bad car. It was just a bad car in this country. You know, otherwise, everywhere else it's a perfect car. You have to be consistent on any platform. I do my 8-year-old's Instagram and she gets millions of views. To be fair, she's far more interesting than I have ever was. TikTok, you have seconds. Exactly. That's it. You have seconds to attract the view, to get the viewer's attention. If you don't get the viewer's attention in the first 2 seconds, they're off that video. And the problem with TikTok is with monetization, they will not pay you until they've watched at least 30 seconds of the video. You have to keep their attention glued for at least 30 seconds. Otherwise, you're not paid. So it's not easy at all. It's a lot harder than people think on YouTube. You ain't getting paid by putting a video up straight away. You have to get their attention. And also you have to come up on their For You page and have an ad show. If they don't, you don't get paid either. And it actually tells you what you've been paid for, what you ain't been paid for, how many times you appeared on the For You page, how long people watched it. And they also don't allow spamming, so uploading a load of videos in one day. They're not going to pay you. You can't do no clickbait content on there. They don't allow it. They don't allow a lot of certain things. You have to really get the people's attention by being authentic and genuine on there. They don't tolerate it. So that's what I mean. It's a much harder platform than YouTube, but the rewards are a lot better if you know what you're doing. And TikTok do help you, especially like with the subscription. If you get a certain amount of members, 10 to 30 members, then they increase your revenue for you, put it up to 30% and 60%. So they give you a lot of bonuses if you attract an audience to your page and you're getting people in. So it works really well. Like I say, Instagram, I was never keen on, and I don't like the meta system, if I'm honest with you. That's why I don't use Facebook, I don't use Instagram, don't use any of it, not even WhatsApp. I don't use anything to do with meta. I have a question, would appreciate it if you answer it. I have a BMW X60. Whenever I try and measure my engine oil, it always tops. Stop at 15% in the screen, no clue why. I would change the oil level sensor on that. I really would. Or I'd reset it on the scan tool on them. You've got an option to reset the oil level sensor. In the service functions, reset it. You are totally correct. You have to pull people in within a second. Oh, yeah. To be fair, I've done some content sitting there, bought a Cayenne 350. Might send it to you to fix. Oh God, no! I definitely don't want a Cayenne. Never. I don't want any of them. I could have had one of them. Funny enough, the other day, someone asked me if I wanted to do it. No chance. I'm not interested in Cayennes at all. You got to remember that Porsche car was not made in Germany. It was made, I think, in Austria, and the engines on them were just crap. They're not like the 911 engines or the Boxster engines or the Cayman engines. They're completely different. But yeah, so many people have problems with it, but everyone seems to be buying them now because they're coming up cheap. And yeah, they're great. And not being funny, they're a luxury SUV, but damn, the amount of problems they have engine wise, it's really not worth it. The amount they cost, it really isn't. You end up spending so much more money than it's worth on a car that realistically you're going to get very little back. Jonathan Rodriguez, I have a question. The 62 no power to the OBD car, runs perfectly, no check engine light on. No power to the OBD. Car runs perfectly, just ABS and jump car. With power draw and check off using nothing is blown. Okay, Jonathan, I've just done a video about that, about the OBD port not working. It's actually on my channel right now. I explained that in full detail. I only posted that like 2 days ago. Go and check that out because that is going to help you. M55 2013 X5 35. I follow you for all good. No radio due to bad amp. They are expensive. Yes, they are expensive, especially if you've got the Harman Kardon. If you're 2013 X5, if you've got the Harman Kardon, that amp is very expensive. Trust me, I know. I have a 2014 740. My air conditioner suddenly stopped working. Actually, cold air comes out, but the airflow is very minimal. What could be the issue? Blower motor. The blower motor. But if it's climate control, the blower motor on them is usually built into the HVAC box, which is a dash removal on that. That's going to be a dash removal. Them 2014 7 Series, 2015. How many of them I nearly bought? They are troublesome to a T. I'm telling you that now. I'll tell you, that's the worst car. I feel sorry for anyone who gets involved in that. Can you please help me get my car driven back to normal? It seems like underneath the driver's side, for some reason, sometimes the steering goes back into place now. So if I'm losing power from a relay. I'm not understanding what you're saying. Seems like underneath the driver's side, for some reason, the steering goes back into place now. Show if I'm losing power from a relay. I check in, sent out DME, ECU, and CAS module, and everything. Power was on another car perfectly. Okay, then if you're not getting power to the OBD port, as I said on the video, the one thing that runs power to them, which wakes up. What car is it again, Jonathan? Oh, E60. So yeah, it's 2004. So the power on them is going to be the KBM, and I did say the KBMs are 40 on them. They're a 40 batch, and they send power to that whole car. And it's not going to be the relays on the fuse board on them. It's the rear one in the rear that causes a lot of issues as well. The battery terminals on them end up getting a lot of condensation on the fuse box in the rear of the boot. And I would disconnect the terminals and clean them because there's a common problem on them. And sometimes if you take the whole fuse box out in the boot area, you'll probably notice behind it, there will be corrosion behind that fuse box as well on the 2004s. How much is the membership right now? If you click on it, it's all different prices. It's up to you what you want to join. it's up there, Andrea Ravi. You can just click the membership and you'll be able to see it says join and you can pick. The expert pack is where everything goes on. That's where the Telegram group is. That's where the software is going to be, and also the other files, which I'm going to release a video telling you about that later on. Um, Obviously, I'm not going to say anything too much now, but yes, there's going to be something that everyone with M52 is going to want on there, which you're going to see. So yes, I would just wait until the video drops. But yeah, if you guys want to sign up to a membership, and like I said, any of the people that are on semi-pro are going to want to upgrade um, for this, because it's going to be released the moment I drop the video. I haven't put them on the membership yet, but the moment the video drops, they're going to be on there. And like I said, there is download links. There's going to be limited to 10 a day for the download, because I don't want there to end up being crashes or someone failing to download it or anything like that. So I'm going to limit the download to 10 a day for all the files to be downloaded. But software is already on there. I'm adding more as we speak, and that's what I've been doing tonight. That's why I'm up so late. I'm already adding more software files to it. There's a Google Drive link. It's got ISTA, eSystem, every tool you need. I've even got other tools there. For the key programming as well, and also for manipulation for the BMWs. So if many of you guys are having issues, like for instance electrical, it basically can manipulate the power source from the terminal 30 relay and be able to switch the car on, so you can find the source. Because I know there's a lot of people that end up where they can't turn the car on. Now this is a system that comes from the F series, that with a scan tool you can actually turn the ignition on and start the car up. On the E60s, E63s, all the E60 generation, they never had that option. But now I've managed to find a manipulation file that you can add, that you can actually start the car up. If you're not getting no reading from your key or from the modules itself, you can force the car to start up. So you'll be able to run your tests on it if you need to. Gracias, hombre. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? No problem, hermano. I am stuck between lateral acceleration sensor. Also, the steering has something to do with the steering, and it's affecting signal to act normal to my car. Lateral acceleration sensor. If you're having problems with the lateral acceleration sensor and also the steering, then the steering is all linked to the SZL, which is going to be your SZL on the steering itself. How can I get my navigation system to work up my voice activation on my iDrive? The voice activation on the 60s is terrible. I don't know why anyone would ever want to use that, if I'm honest with you. That's a terrible, terrible system. I don't even know why I don't know, people still use that. I've got it all over my cars. I never use the voice activation. The woman can't hear a damn thing, like she's deaf, or she gets it wrong, or she calls the wrong person, or she goes to the wrong setting. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, you. Is it working or it's not working? Because I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying, how can I get my navigation system to work? But I need to know what you mean by that. I just sent my ECU for M55 in to be repaired yesterday. Yeah, the ECUs don't really go wrong on them anymore. They used to, though. There used to be a big problem, especially on the 3 Series. They were a big problem. That always went wrong. Oh, no, thank you for answering. Jonathan Rodriguez, E6 2004 525. Okay, we'll check it out. Have an M53 and have fuel pump problem. Always a fuel pump on and still have problems can cause from injectors. Yes, injectors will cause the issue if you still got a problem. My 2004 325 and M56, I mean M54. About to reach 200k miles. Should I keep it or sell it? That's down to you. I can't tell you whether you want to sell it or not. If you've done all the maintenance and it's looked after and it's running fine, don't sell it. If it's going to cost you money now and you need to get it done and you've got to reach the maintenance stage, then I would strongly advise you to sell it and go and get something else. I have a 1993 BMW 525 manual. Sometimes clutch gets stopped to the floor and I have to pump it a few times to get back working. Should I bleed the clutch? It's not going to be your clutch. It's going to be your brake servo. If it's the pedals going to the floor, it means the fluid is leaking from somewhere, causing it to happen. Is getting air into the system, which is why you're having to pump it to pump the air out to put back fluid there. So I'd get that checked out immediately. If I check that and that is good, because it'll be power drawn from the power steering, which has to be programmed and coded. I took off the ABS module thinking it was the issue. Yes, you will. If power is drawn from the power steering system itself, then yes, that's going to be the issue. And you're going to have to get it programmed and coded. We'll check this. I've been watching your videos ever since I learned pretty about fixing up, because you appreciate all the solid. Remember, what was the first BMW you've owned? God, if I go back to what BMW I owned, was actually E36 3 Series. I actually had a 325i, and I'm talking, Jesus, 2008? 2008, yeah. I actually had a E36 325i, M Sport one. So that was actually the first car I actually owned. It's not working from the steering wheel to navigate by voice activation. But is it working from the button in the center console in the middle? If it works through that, then you got a problem with your buttons on your steering wheel, or it needs to be coded back, or it could be that you don't have voice activation at all. If you don't have the button in the middle, you've only got a menu button, it then means you don't have voice activation. You just got the button there. It's prepped for voice activation if you wanted to put it in. Hello, mate. Great content as always over there. 63. I've done Rob Bearings and Vanos Spot. Do you think there's anything else that needs doing as preventive maintenance? You done the Rob Bearings and the Vanos line, you mean? And have you done the solenoids, the seals on them? Have you done the injectors? There's loads to do on the M6, and realistically, I would get it all done on them purely because, and the S63TU, the injectors on them do go wrong, and they will lock your engine up. That's well known on the S63s. But if you've done the Rob Bearings and the Vanos system, the next thing I would do is just make sure, obviously, that you keep on top of the oil changes, because one thing about them is, especially if you've tuned it, that will destroy the whole engine. And the turbos, as you know, overheat on them in the valleys anyway, because of where they sit. The most stupidest design by BMW to even put them down the middle there, but that's how they are. But realistically, the S63, if it's a TU, they're quite solid anyway. They don't go wrong. The S63, however, is very problematic. And if you ain't had it remapped, you ain't messed about with it, then that car will last you for a very long time, because they are solid engines, no matter what people say. It's just they're not solid in the wrong hands, as we all know. Thank you. I love your channel. I teach everything from you. No problem. Maybe it's been on for over a month. I believe it's reluctor rings. Does it affect the engine driving with the ABS light on? It's going to, yes, it's going to limit the power, because if the reluctor rings are having a problem and the ABS is on, causing your traction control to come on, then the car isn't going to let you have full power, purely because it can't grip, and the traction control is not working to prevent your wheel spinning or slipping or anything when you go to floor it. So yes, that's going to affect your power. I'm in the States, is 87 octane gas turbine. I forgot the name of the liquid you can put in a gas tank, but can I add that and the car will be fine? Yeah, you can. You can add it, and the liquid you're on about is probably the Forte, for the fuel system cleaner. Yes, you can add that. That's the fuel. I would run that. Really, I run Redx a lot now anyway. Like I said, I don't really, like I said, I swear by Forte, and I still do to this day and age, but I don't use it. I don't, if I can't get it, I'm not going to use it all the time. I'll use something else, because any addictive that you put in the fuel system is good enough. Like, I use stabilizers in all my motorbikes, because you have to stabilize the fuel during the winter time, and they're all fine. I use stabilizers and I've got no issue. So yeah, with yours, running any kind of injector cleaner will be fine. Liquid moly, even, you can use that one. Much appreciation for your BMW answers. My question is, what do you think about the BMW Series One? Um, for me, if I'm honest with you, the One Series, I don't know, it's a bit small, and I feel like you don't get much for your money on the One Series. I mean, if you saw what I had to do on my M135i, especially the F Series, I felt like BMW took so much stuff out that they shouldn't have. Started charging people extra. It was just ridiculous. And I feel like the One Series, realistically, you can get a 3 Series or a 5 Series and you get more for your money. The One Series doesn't, they don't give you enough, as far as I'm concerned. They don't give you enough for your money in the One Series anymore. And that's the one thing I don't like about them. And to find one with everything is far and few between. That's why mine sold so quick, my M135, because of all the options that I put on it. And you wouldn't find one like that ever again, with all the options I put on mine: heated steering wheel, all the Logic 7, all the Harman Kardon sound system, which was full in out, even with the amp, and everything I'd done to that, all the new steering wheel upgrade, all the power fold mirrors, every option that people want on them, you just couldn't get. And I put that on that car for that reason, because I knew it would sell it, and it did. It sold it in a heartbeat. Obviously, I had the CAFAS on mine with the speed limit warnings and everything, and that's something I do miss. If I'm honest with you, that's the only thing I miss about that car, was the CAFAS, because the speed limit warnings are very good, especially when you're in an area that you don't know. That comes in very handy. Saves you having to use a sat nav trying to find out the speed limits. That's the one thing I do miss about the One Series. But apart from that, everything else really I don't miss, because I can put that in any car, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, the One Series, I don't really like what BMW done to them. And The fact that they even didn't have auto lights that had to even retrofit that was an absolute, shambles on its own. Speaking of oil change, I noticed mine drinking a bit more oil than before now, about a litre every 1,000 miles. Previously, it was about 1,500. Is this normal? Yes, that's going to be normal depending on how you drive it. If you drive it like a baby, then obviously it's not going to drink oil. But if you're always redlining it, flooring it, then of course it's going to drink oil. It's to be expected by BMWs. That's normal. And to be honest, that's with any German car, even Porsche, using a quart of oil every 1,000 miles is to be expected, even on a new engine rebuild. They say the same thing. And this has been freshly rebuilt and it hasn't used oil yet, but of course it will do at some point if I keep hammering it around, like any car will. Any car, you can buy a brand new car. If you start rallying it about, no matter what year it is or how low the mileage is, it's going to drink the oil. Obviously, because you're putting more extra heat onto that engine, you're redlining it, so the engine's getting hotter. So of course, the oil is just going to break down very quickly, and you're going to lose oil over the time. Same way, fuel will burn quickly if you're redlining it and flooring it. Your fuel's going to go down as well. 06324 325i. Yes, use 5W40. I'm thinking about getting an F80 M3 next year with my first M. What are your thoughts on the S55 motor? The S55 is solid and reliable apart from that crank hype. As long as you avoid that S8 and F80 with that issue, or get one that's been done, then the car's solid. They don't really have many issues, the S55 engine. Solid engine, just like the M55 engine. Like I said, I love my M55 engine. I never had no issues disregarding what everyone else said about it. Everyone said, "Oh, it's unreliable. It does this, blows up, goes this, goes wrong. Rod bearings go out." Sorry, mine was on 120,000 miles, and mine was absolutely perfect. It's not about them blowing; it's about buying it from a responsible owner. Mine come from a lady owner, and her husband looked after the car, dealt with BMWs already. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. If that had been anyone else I was buying it from, say a young person, I would never have bought it because I know it would never have lasted. But this is what it goes by. Think about who you're buying a car from before you just buy it. A lot of people don't consider that, and that's why they end up with cars that end up destroying themselves. What can be reason for smoke besides oil separator? M52 B25 valve stem seals. That's what's going to be the smoke besides oil separator. M52 can faulty Vanos solenoids, no, because cause an engine rattle. If you're having an engine rattle, it's going to be probably a Vanos sprocket, which is, you're going to have to take the valve cover off and have a look, because that's the only thing that causes an engine rattle. The bolts come loose on the Vanos gear itself, and that's what will cause your rattle. Or could even be one of your chain guides. When the car is on a running range, it's great for me to have the car not draw power from the battery. I have to take the negative cable off. My car's been sitting for about 5 years. I'm not sure. This is what I've always said, though, Jonathan. These '04 plate, these 60s, 2003, 2005 was the worst years for BMW because they didn't integrate everything into the KGM, and it was the worst year possible. I would strongly recommend to check the micro power module in the boot as well, because you'll have that in there, and check and make sure that ain't water damaged. You need to check that. Make sure that ain't damaged either. Thank you. No problem, Randy Green. And every time I want to work on a car, I check the fuse panel behind the barrier. If that's not an issue, what else should I be looking at? I see that the lines of power steering underneath. I see that the lines to the power steering underneath. I would be checking the lines underneath the power steering because they're exposed to the environment. If you've got water damage or anything like that, that's going to cause a power drain, especially if the module's gone out. Phoenix, what's going on, geezer? A long time. That's good, bruv. Just checking in. Hope you're good. I'm all good, bruv. I'm all good. What about you? Brother, every time I come to the area, I'm always like, I've got to link up with you. I've got to meet you, and I never do. You're going to have to literally drop me your number, because then that way, when I come down there, because when I ride down there or whatnot, me and you can meet up in it, because I'm always down around Hornsey and that. So you're going to have to just drop me your number, and I'll sort it. We'll have to sort it out. Underneath is leaking. If underneath is leaking, it's probably leaking onto a load of electrical connectors, which is causing your battery drain. It's probably melted one of the wires for something, hence your steering problem as well. Are you a smoker and do you smoke in the car? How do you get rid of the smell? Any tips? Oh, for me, I do smoke, but I try not to smoke in the car now because I always get my daughter in there, my younger daughter, so I don't like her smelling of it. So I try and avoid smoking in the car where possible. But how I usually get rid of it is don't drive the car for like 3 to 5 days, or I go and have it valeted, put air fresheners in it, and gets rid of the smell straight away. So yeah, that's my best way of getting rid of it. It's like under voltage or over voltage. Jonathan, you're going to really have to check. I think you need a scan tool to be able to diagnose what the problem's going on with that car, because you're not going to get to the bottom of it that easily with a battery drain problem. You never will. I have a question about the service book. My car did not come with a service book, and they said that the service is always put online. Where can I find it? Where does it go? Straight to BMW website? David, what car have you got? Because when they say online, it's not online. The service doesn't go online. If it's been serviced at BMW, then BMW will have the record of it. If you've got an F series, the service record will be on either your MBT or your CIC, stored in the system there. And I do have videos up on how to access that. Okay, sounds good. Sure thing, bro. Oh, brother, you're in Hackney. Yeah, I go there as well. I know a lot of people around there. My sister's partner lives in Hackney, innit? So yeah, I come down there a lot as well. I'm always in Stoke Newington, and like, 'cause all my friends own shops and everything, and kebab shops down there anyway. So yeah, when if you live down there, just let me know, and I'll come down and see you there anyway. I know Hackney well. I used to do all around there anyway, so I know Hackney. I know a lot of people from there. With my M55 2013 BMW X5 E70, what should I buy or have after reaching 50,000 a month? 50, I would like to stock up and have parts on hand on me. To be honest, if you've got an M55, you're probably best to go and watch my video, and you'll see all the parts that fail on it, and you'll be able to see everything that fails and know what you need to stock up on. At the end of the day, I've done many videos on the M55 because I had it. Hello from Slovakia. How come no one talks about the M57? It's always missing out. Venus, that's because, if I'm honest with you, this channel is mostly based on, if I'm honest with you, it's based on M52 and mostly petrol engines, because that's what I mostly had. So it's not so much based on how to say it, like diesel engines. The only one I really done on here was the M57. N57 I wouldn't buy purely because of the timing chain failure on them, just like the M47, always going south. So yeah, you've got to factor that in. This channel is mostly based on petrol engines more than diesel engines. This is the issue. I know it's a BMW channel, but it's a lot more focused based on the M52, if I'm honest with you, than any other engine on here. How about cigars? Oh God, I don't know how you'd get rid of the smell of that. I don't do cigars, so I wouldn't know, man. I don't do cigar. I do everything else, but I don't do cigars. I have 2011 528 IM52 F10 that keeps burning my starter out, and I can't figure out what it caused this. What advice could you give me? If your starter motor is burning out, then you have a serious problem with being too much voltage is being delivered to that starter motor. That's what's burning it out. Or you're getting the wrong starter motor where it's wearing the bushes out, where it's overturning it too much, or it's too weak to start the car in the first place, which is why it's burning them out. You need to get the correct starter motor for your car, because for it to be burning them out, you're buying a cheap one, and it can't keep up with what the ECU is requesting when it's supposed to fire up, and it's burning it out that way straight away. It's burning out the bushes in it. Thanks for the N52 videos. My brother-in-law just gave me a 2,070 kilometers, always garage and service by the dealer. It should last another 20 years. Thanks for your videos. You're still in Insta, that would be great. Still, no, I'm not on Insta, Phoenix. You know, I'm not. You won't know. What you might have to do is just drop me an email or something. I'm on TikTok though. If you're on TikTok, go on that and just send me a message on there. So then I can read it in it, because I reply to a lot of the messages on TikTok all the time, because I see it a lot easier as well. Just message me on there and send me your digits. So 7 Series isn't a good car. I had a near death accident 750. I felt it saved me. That's why I got. What other model would you recommend? 6 Series. I think 6 Series is probably the best one, if I'm honest with you. Thank you. From Libya, and how much oil consumption? Well, normal oil consumption should be around 1,000 miles, give or take every month, I would say. It depends on the mileage. It depends on how you drive it. But if you've got serious oil consumption issues, especially if you've got the 325 or 323, it's going to be your valve stem seals on them and the piston rings. They're bad by design, and everyone knows that. Why does DME cut out a cylinder? I check the valvetronic spark and coils. I'm getting ready to remove the valve covers. Um, Alonso, you need to remind me. Oh, 2007 E60 M5. If the DME is cutting out a cylinder, it means you've got a problem. And usually it's the ionic control modules. Again, I've done a video on that, explaining why it does that. And I've already got a video up regarding that on the M5. The ionic control modules, they go bad, which cause power shortage to the ignition coils. And it's very, very common on them. A lot of people didn't know about that until I did the video. But they control the actual voltage going to the ignition coils direct from the DME to regulate the current going to them. I have a brand new Audi and brakes are squeaking slightly. Is that because they are new? I haven't used it a lot. No, it could be because you didn't probably put any kind of copper grease behind them, which has caused them to squeal. And if it's overheating and you're hitting the brakes too hard, then yes, it's going to cause brake squeal for now. But that should wear off, to be honest, if you've got to put new ones on. Good afternoon, Texas Avenue. Have an E90 06 have a slow crank no starter just started. Plays a few parts. Battery is good tested. If you have a slow crank no start issue that started after replaced, I would strongly look at your starter motor, because the starter motor should not be slow to turn over, especially if you've already replaced the battery. But you're saying the battery is good, but how do you know that? Because the way to test that is by getting a battery tester, which tells you if the battery is good or bad straight away. Phoenix, no problem. Yeah, just message me on there, bro. Too early M52 suffer from broken cam sprocket bolts. I see there was a recall. Yes, they do. The new ones suffer with it along with the older ones. Just depends on how the car's been looked after and driven, if they break or don't break. Thank you very much. However, I put an original starter in the car. Okay, if you put an original starter in the car and it still keeps blowing it, then you means you've got a voltage problem as well. Because they shouldn't keep blowing the starter motors. If they're blowing the starter motors out like that, you've got a very bad problem. And it's whatever delivering the power, usually on them. If it's an F10, you said it'll be the FEM module that sends the power to the DME. What a problem when you start the car up, because the FEM is got all the keys linked as well. And that's what will be damaging the starter. The FEM is probably directing too much voltage, or someone could have something mixed up. It could even be a relay not powering correctly, which is over voltage in the starter motor and the startup, which is killing them. So I'll check the relay as well. I'm new to the M52 game, but I've had two S50 M3s. I picked up an 07 for the Wi-Fi, water pump thermostat, and valve cover gasket. That's good, man. I'm glad. So glad to see so many other people come in and joining the M52 community, because people don't realize how good it is. You really don't. You don't realize how good it is to see more and more people. And that's why I did that video, because people don't realize that more and more people are buying these newer BMs and all realizing how plasticky they are, how much costly they are, how much goes wrong with them. And then they end up finding out about the M52 and they see my video. Like, you don't realize how many people. The reason I started TikTok was purely because there were so many people buying BMWs based on my videos, but they all bought the M53 in the UK thinking it was the M52. Little did they know, then I come along and they've seen my videos, and now they're all trying to sell their M53s to buy back the M52, because obviously I commented on their channels and told them, you know, what they bought was not the M52 and how troublesome they were. Now they listen to me. And I communicate with a lot of people on TikTok, all different follow channels and things like that on there, who are quite big on there because they've been doing their own thing with their cars that they bought. And I feel sorry for them. There are a lot of youngsters who buy these cars, don't understand, and then just end up, you know, not knowing anything about it, and it's costing them a fortune because they're buying them from dodgy dealers and they don't know nothing about cars. So I'm helping a lot of people on there as well and saving them by switching them over to the M52 from the M53. Look, my plan is to try and get the M52 circulating and as popular as possible, because it's a great, great engine. There's nothing wrong with it. If I thought there was anything wrong with it, I wouldn't own two of them. And before that, I had four of them, if you don't remember, with the 1 Series and everything I had as well. So I would not have them if I didn't think they were reliable. Even my 6 Series, that's like my daily driver now. The Porsche, like I say, don't get used, but the 6 Series is my daily driver all the time. And why? Because M52, I trust it. It's reliable. I know I'm going to get to my destination all the time perfectly with no issues, because I've done everything to it. I thought start issue is if the car doesn't crank at all. This leads me to think it can be fuel, perhaps fuel relay. No, if your car, did you say it's cranking and not starting, or it's not starting? Because the starter motor should engage, but it just won't start. That's the. There's two different calls for it. Either your fuel pump is not sending the fuel, but you should know that, because the starter motor will go to engage and the car will go to start, but it will just cut out. It'll go to run, but then cut out because it will use whatever fuel's in the rail. Slow crank, no start. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So if it's slowly cranking, it will be your starter motor. Your starter motor is probably locked up, and that's why it's slowly cranking. It's not going to be a fuel issue. Fueling issue would not cause a slow crank. It would still turn over, just won't fire into life, because there is not they would have a fueling problem. It would just spin over though. It should spin over fast, but I would check the battery definitely, because I think the battery is probably your biggest problem as well. Before that, because a slow start usually is called by a slow battery or a dead battery. Obviously, didn't buy the second Gen X3 with turbo. I bet. Where did you get your fleece from? Does it zip to the top? Yeah, it does zip to the top. They all zip. It zips completely up. I bought this years ago. Years ago, I've got so many of them. But this one I've had many, many years now. I've got too many of them. But this one I've started wearing until I go back to my other one. I've got waistcoats, I've got everything. So yeah, this one just keeps me warm. It looks proper. So yeah, that's why I always wear it. I had to do intake chip full exhaust to get my S50 to 207. I'm 7 get rid of the M52 is definitely superior. Yeah, that's the thing. What I've got coming up for the M52 is going to maximize, if I'm honest with you, it's going to completely maximize and transform the M52 engine for everybody. And like I said, it's going to be the biggest thing to ever come to the M52 community purely because I have been striving and striving to get this right. And me and my friend finally done it. And he works in, I'm not going to say the place, but yeah, he works in the place. And we've done it correctly. And like I say, when you guys join the membership, you'll see everything on there. I'm going to be putting a post out before I post a video to all the members that are on there, letting them know what I've done. And the download link will be there in the members post on the membership, ready to download. And like I said, if any of you get stuck, any of you need help, help is already at hand because we are able to remote you, come in, help you with whatever you need to do. I have an M5 2005 I'm buy at the same time like you and also have a still in for some time need help before pay for your channel. So I understand what you're saying, Thomas, it's fine. And for some time, yeah, that's fine. If you ever need it, like I said, just join the membership, and I'll add you to the Telegram group. Funny enough, we've got a Slovakian guy in there. He's a member, but he's very good. So if you never need to communicate, his English is good. You can communicate with him, and he will be able to translate back to me and whatnot. So it's not an issue anyway. That's what I mean. In the membership, we've got a wide variety of all different speakers in there anyway. So from all around the world. So it's a good thing. And that's what I mean. That's why it's so solid based on that, because we've got everyone who's now got to know each other. Everyone's friendly. Everyone helps everyone out. And that's what I wanted to create. And so far I've created it really, really well. What brand is it? I can't remember the brand now. I know I know it's a good brand, but I can't remember what brand it is off the top of my head. I need to take it off to be able to tell you. If it comes to my head, I'll tell you, but I can't remember. I really can't. Can you do a video on how to diagnose a car, a comp system, or is that the membership? A what system? A comp system? A complicated system? Are you meaning? And any videos relating to that? There is a lot of videos on the membership again that show everything regarding diagnosing cars, coding the cars, retrofitting to the cars, everything that you have. I'm telling you, you guys don't even understand. Most of the stuff that's on the membership, you will not see on the main page. And you always ask me for a certain amount of videos, but most of them are already on the membership. Just you can't see them unless you're a member. And there's so many on there regarding ISTA, regarding IMPA, regarding Tool 32, regarding E-System, regarding everything that you guys asked me for, especially for instance, the cloning keys and cloning ECUs, and if you get water damage ECUs and how to start your car if your car goes down and you can't get your car started and things like that. There's bypasses that I've got on there and things like that. Oh God, I don't need coats. I don't need nobody's coats. It's all fine, man. I've got so many jackets. It's unreal. So many. Like I say, for me, this is just a work jacket. This is not how I dress daily. Trust me. This is just what I use when I'm shooting videos or when I'm in the garage. Like I say, I don't. This is not how I go out daily. So don't worry about that. Like I said, my one is cool. I've got another one underneath. I've got my waistcoat underneath. I usually take this off. Just wear my waistcoat anyway. So yeah, I've got quite a few of them anyway. Thank you for that anyway. Thanks for the offer, but yeah, I don't need jackets if I'm honest with you, mate. Yes, John. Yeah, and that's what I mean. A lot of people are not aware of that, and the thing is, that YouTube are meant to be pushing the membership videos out to you guys as subscribers. Not they're meant to be showing them on the front page, so you get to see them. And when you click on them, it tells you to join, but they haven't started doing it yet. And unless I'm telling people, they're not even aware that majority of their problems. And I keep saying this, and people, and that's why we've got such a loyal base on Telegram. Because of the videos I keep uploading there. And you guys will not get notifications when I upload a video on the membership. Only members get notifications. That's one thing a lot of people ain't aware of. And secondly, another thing people ain't aware of is that majority of the problems you ask me are already on the membership and you guys don't even know that. Like, I get myself quite shocked when you guys are, and that's why, if you do realize, I don't answer a lot of people's comments because most of the things they're asking on the comments in a normal video is already there on video, and they're asking it and asking me to tell them how to do this, how to do that when it's already there. They just don't they just don't see it, and it's such a shame. It's not their fault; it's YouTube's fault for not pushing the membership videos when that stuff that they're looking for is already there. And it's quite shocking. Now, I've literally labeled them and titled them all correctly so they can be found. It's not like the main channel where you struggle to find it. On that, they're labeled the way they're meant to be of what you're looking for. So there's no confusion about what you need and what you're looking for on the membership. It's all there rating for you. But like I said, there's tuning files on there. There's the software download links on there. If you have or you don't have software, you need software or you need datum files, even datum files for any car, and that's being F series, G series. I have them all. And during the Telegram group, if you're part of the membership, if you need anything, you just send me your email and we send it to you directly. You'll get it without a shadow of a doubt. So you don't need to sit there questioning how you can't find it, you can't do this, you can't do that. And if you don't know how to load them, we'll load them for you. We will help you. We remote you and we'll help you on there. Like I said, it isn't just me. There's 4 other guys that take part in doing this with me, and we've got a massive community on there that everyone is willing to help everybody on the membership. I don't think you guys understand, because these people are so dedicated to the software side of things. They're eager to learn, and also the M52 engine. A lot of these people, and we've even got M5 owners on there, a lot of these people are always willing to help you, and they're so loyal to me, to the fan base, and to this channel as well. And that's what I'm trying to tell a lot of you guys as well. Just, if you do want to join the membership, join it and become part of the Telegram group, because it'll be the best thing many of you guys have ever done. Because many of you in it, like one guy, look, went to the dealers to go and pay them $300 for diagnostics. He could have just joined a membership for, I think, $40, and he could have got the software from there, and he sorted it out and diagnosed it himself. If he doesn't want to spend obviously $106 on a scan tool, doesn't have to. And that's the point I'm making. Like, a lot of people ain't aware of that, and it's such a shame. It really is, because the more people that are aware of this, I know some people say, "Oh, everything's hiding behind paywall," but it's not. At the end of the day, these guys that help out, obviously, I need to pay them, and they're very loyal. They're like 24/7. If I'm not awake, they're awake, and if I'm awake, they're not. And if they're not awake, I'm awake. So we all help each other out, and obviously, it is so worth it. And anyone who's part of the membership will tell you that. You know, anyone on the who's part of this group and part of the Telegram group will tell you that as well. That the membership is probably one of the best things they took part in. And we've got so many people, being Spanish, Lithuanian, Polish, Slovakian, French. We've got so many different languages in there as well. It's unreal. So, and that's what I mean. It doesn't matter what language you speak. There's always someone in there that speaks the same language. So you would never have to worry about feeling um, pushed out, or that someone don't understand you, because everyone will understand you and your problem will get solved. And if it can't be solved by me, it'll be solved by someone else that does speak your language as well. So it's not something you'd ever have to worry about. If I randomly type gibberish, it's my cat. You've saved me a lot of money with your work already. Thank you for helping, BMW noobs. John G, no problem. Literally, I appreciate all you guys. Look, I have to appreciate you guys as subscribers, because if it wasn't for you, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I have to thank all of you guys. Like I said from the beginning of this video, love me or hate me, I thank everyone, because realistically, it doesn't matter if you're a hater, you love it, you still watched, and that's why I'm where I am today. And that's all I can only be grateful, you know, for you lot putting me in this position. Because like I say, I am thick skinned, I'm tough skinned. There's a lot of people that ain't. And I've got to be honest, I see it on YouTube all the time and TikTok. There's a lot of people that will let these certain people put them down, you know, let negative comments affect their mental health. Luckily, I'm not like that. Luckily, I'm not. And there's people that actually go about and end up committing suicide, because these people have really traumatized them, really hurt their feelings by what these people have said. Because you know how people are online these days. But luckily for me, I'm not one of them to let anything get me down. Anything get me down. And I think that's why I keep making it and keep making it and keep making it, because no matter what people say, all it does is push me and push me to strive even better and get more out of life. And that's what I've done. Need to go. I'm a driver coming, and thanks for what you do. Have seen many videos. Thanks. If someone I'm going to look for and only have Telegram, need look for your channel. No problem, Thomas. I appreciate it. How can anyone hate you? I learned so much from you already about BMWs. It's not so much hate. I think how can I put it? To put it in a nice way, I think it's just like jealousy, to put it frank. Because as a YouTuber, you're achieving things that other people can't, and other people would like to achieve, just they can't achieve. And I feel like they don't realize they could better themselves. And when you sit there watching someone, even on YouTube and on TikTok, you can say, I'm going to be better than that person. I'm going to do that, what that person's done. and you can do it. I did it. When I watched these people on TikTok, I thought, I even said to my everybody, I said to my family and everyone, I am gonna smash TikTok. I'm gonna go on there and I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And you think I come from nothing. I've only been doing TikTok. I took it seriously this year. And I'm already at 75,000 followers and God knows how many millions of views already on there. I think I've got already 9.5 million in total. But I'm smashing it on there because I said I was going to do it. If you put your mind to something and you want it bad enough, you will do it. But a lot of people do have this jealousy type hatred, which I suppose was what drives them. But they're doing it to the wrong person because all it does is push me even further. And I'm always going to keep achieving better things. So they don't really put a downer on me at all. They haven't. And if they did, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today. And you guys got to remember, YouTube is not my full-time employment like people like to think. I do other stuff at YouTube. I do other stuff away from TikTok. YouTube is just more like for my enjoyment. So this is what I mean to you guys. When I tell you guys join a membership, I don't benefit from this. The people that benefit from this is actually the other guys that are in there helping you guys as well as me. But them guys are very loyal and very passionate, and they look after everybody in there. When I can't get to the phone or I can't, I'm asleep and they're awake or whatnot. They deal with it, and they deserve more credit than me, if I'm honest with you. And like I said, realistically, this is not my full-time job at all, by any means. A lot of people like to assume it is. It's not. That's why I managed to achieve what I achieve. It's not all based on YouTube. So I want to get that flat straightened out right now. None of this has been achieved just by doing YouTube. Not at all in the slightest. A lot of this comes from what I do outside of YouTube. And the money I make from there and how I run my business is outside of YouTube. This is just my way of, I do this for boredom and for entertainment really, and to educate other people. But it's not something that I have to do. It's not something that I'm needing to do. Like a lot of people, this is their full-time employment. This is not my full-time employment at all. And that's why, like, even now, after this, I've got things to do. And I'll probably be up till 6, 7 in the morning doing stuff. I'm having to shoot around everywhere, drive around everywhere, and do my things. But that's what I do in the nights. While everyone's sleeping, I'm motivated. I'm moving. I'm doing my videos. I'm doing my other things, and I keep myself moving. A lot of other people don't do that, and then they get jealous, saying why they don't get this, why they don't get that, why they don't achieve this. But they've got to look at themselves from their position they're in. They only rely on YouTube, and that's why I don't just rely on YouTube. And you can't, you really can't, because YouTube is one of them things where it's unreliable. It's very, very unreliable. 1 minute can be good, 1 minute can be bad. I don't need unreliability in my life. That's why I do TikTok as well. And then that helps me balance it out with YouTube and both of them. Like I said, people want to believe, oh, you don't make much from TikTok, this, that, the other, pay crap. I'm telling you right now, as a TikTok creator myself, who's monetized, who has programs on there, who's part of every program, TikTok shop, the money is very, very good on TikTok. And you can make more than you can from YouTube in a heartbeat. And people would never believe that. And you get paid a lot from your videos. It depends on who the videos reach and how many views they get. And if they land on the For You page. If you land on the For You page, that triples. So I'm not going to get into it how much it is, but yes, TikTok does pay no matter what people want to make everyone believe or what they believe. They only the belief based on Google. But if you looked up Google how much YouTube that pays per click and things like that, you'd be on an assumption we make nothing as well. So don't believe it. I'm monetized. And I'm telling you right now, if it didn't pay well, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't even be pushing hard for it. But it pays very, very well. And there's people who are brung to TikTok who have seen the rewards from it as well. Love digging out your old videos, keeping my old E39 530D running. Thanks, Dean. Mate, if I'm honest with you, I miss my E39, my 530 diesel. I had one of them, and like I said, I really, really miss that car. I had that years ago as well. And I think it's still running, as far as I know. Learned so much from this channel from ISS85. Thank you. No problem. I've got an issue that's driving me mad. I've changed my glow plugs and module, but my car takes ages to start. What will cause this? If it's taking age to start, one is diesel. It's usually a fueling issue getting to the engine. That's what causes it to take ages to start. If it's taking age to start, it's the fuel. What car is it? CJ, I can't remember. Oh, 535D E60. It could be the fuel pump. The fuel pump is probably causing the issue, or it could be the injectors. Is it remapped? What's your favorite M car of all time? Oh God, M cars, M cars. I would, to be honest, it's hard for me to say that because, to be honest, if if to be, it's so hard. I can't even think of what would be my favorite M car purely because if I was to say my favorite ones, it would have to be probably the E92 M3, the F10 M5. If it was any of them, it'd be the F10 M5, and probably now the G80 M3. That would be my next one, G80 M3. Yeah, that's if it's remap CJ, that's going to be your issue right there. Obviously, I think the injectors. I would check your injectors. They're probably going to be damaged. If I'm honest with you, and I would check them strongly, purely because they do go bad after the car's been remapped and up the boost and everything else. And the fuel pump, you put a lot more pressure on the fuel pump, so I check that as well. Especially on the diesel, the fuel pumps are known to be a weak point anyway. So yes, definitely check that. Possible to join to your group Slovakia nearly to PL only white speak 5 languages. No, news guy, Thomas, I don't really understand what you mean, mate. If you write it again, I might be able to see what you mean. New subscriber, and I have an X5M and I had a mechanic delete the PCV. After that, I got an overboost code and all leaking from valve covers and on the turbos because PCV. The PCV delete will cause that. You need the PCV system in place with them. You can't delete it and then you're going to end up getting overboost problems. This is always going to happen. The best way to do that, if you want to keep the PCV deletes, go and get it remapped so it remaps it out and maps it completely out the engine. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to anyway bring this video to a close because purely because obviously I've been live now for nearly an hour and a half, and obviously I need to get on with other things. And it's been great talking to all of you, and obviously all of you here. It's been great to obviously get you all into the obviously chat as well, into the live stream. Obviously, this is something I don't do all the time, but I have enjoyed speaking to many of you guys and actually keeping you updated. Like I said, if you're not part of the membership, make sure to become part of the membership purely because, as I said, the video I'm going to drop, you guys are going to want to be part of the membership. I'm seeing other comments coming in about keys. Keys is all on the membership. There's videos on there that will help you solve all them issues with comfort access and things like that because I did a lot of comfort access keys. I don't want to really say any more about that. Like I said, most of the questions many of you guys are asking are all on the membership that you can find on there. And it's such a shame YouTube will not push them videos to show you guys, but they are on there because we've got members on there that watch them all the time and they're learning. But like I said, if you're not part of the membership, do become part of it, because everyone that supports this channel always gets rewarded anyway. Anyone who becomes part of the membership always gets rewarded somehow, some way. We always do. On the Telegram page, we do a lot of giveaways as well, because you guys now get scan tools. I've got too many of them. I need to get rid of them and things like that. So we end up doing a lot of giveaways to subscribers as well on here, especially on the members page. So like I say, I thank all of you guys for actually tuning in, being part of this, because it was a late one. I didn't think anyone was going to take part at this time, but thank you all for joining. I appreciate every single one of you. As I said, whether you love me or hate me, I don't really mind because you've all been there for me and you still are. So thank you very much, all of you guys, for joining this live stream. And I'm going to put this to an end now. And you guys enjoy your day and have a good Christmas if we don't speak before then. And happy holidays to all of you.